Hi everybody, Phil here. Really pleased and grateful that you're tuning in. Now, this is content that we haven't covered in much detail before, but something that actually at Move IQ we get asked about a lot. So with that in mind, we wanted to ensure that we're working with the right organisation to deliver the right answers to all of your finance-related questions. That's what we're going to be discussing through this series, and we are delighted to be working with Trussle.com. They are FCA-regulated mortgage advisors, and I'm going to be liaising and working with them throughout the series on some of the key questions that you have asked us to cover. And I'm kicking things off with a chat with Tom Hodgson from Trussle. Tom, great to have you with me. Thank you for joining, but I'm afraid I've got a big question for you. Why should somebody, in your opinion, use a broker rather than go direct to a lender? Could you sort of expand for our audience? What does a mortgage broker actually do?
Yeah, absolutely. So a mortgage broker will fundamentally do a few things. They'll hopefully save you money. They'll look across the whole of the market for you and find you the best rate, which if you work with an individual lender may not happen.
Yeah.
They'll save you time and hassle because they'll be in there working for you in the process, helping with paperwork, making sure that you have the best chance of being accepted by a lender and really helping you with a case, packaging it for you to give you the best chance of being accepted.
I have a kind of motto through my life where I say outsource non-core activities. So if I'm not really good at something, I'd rather work with someone who is a specialist in the field. But at Trussle, you promote yourselves as a fee-free broker. But you've got to make your money from somewhere. As a fee-free broker, can you still offer wide access to the market?
Yeah, so we take our fee from a lender when the mortgage completes, and that's standard practice across the mortgage industry. Also, some brokers will then charge a fee on top of that for their services, which we do not at Trussle. But yeah, we have extensive panel coverage, so we work with over 90 lenders, we have over 12,000 products, and so we can look at your case and try and find the right product from you. And a top tip for us is always to ask a broker how big their panel is, how many lenders they have access to, so that they have got the higher chance of getting you the right product.
I just wanted to take a moment in the middle of proceedings here to say a very big thank you to our friends at Trussle.com. They are the sponsors of the whole series. Trussle were the first online mortgage broker, and they've indeed since been voted the best mortgage broker, not just online, but the best mortgage broker. They are a hassle-free, fee-free way of getting a mortgage, and indeed they are the only broker with a 5-day speed promise. My brother-in-law once said to me, who's an accountant, he said, your greatest cost in life is tax. Your second greatest cost is your mortgage. So actually it pays to go and get some advice, go and get some help from a specialist who works in that market, in that field, on a day-to-day basis to help you through it. It is a big decision, isn't it? And I mean, it's massive which mortgage you choose. It's with you for a very long time, or it could be.
Yes, absolutely. I'd completely agree with your accountant there, because this is going to be really exciting. Buying a new home is the really the sexy part that people look forward to. But then how you finance that is kind of is less accessible to everyone. So we completely endorse trying to get a mortgage broker who is regulated by the FCA, has spends their time looking at this on a day-to-day basis, helping multiple clients get products, just to maximise your chances of finding the right products on the right deal, which could save you money. Recently with Trussle, we've looked at how many customers come through Trussle. We save on average over £300 per month for customers that come through and use the service, and that's through the access to being able to match the right customer to the right product.
£300 a month saving, on average for your customers. That's a big saving.
Yeah.
How are you able to do that? Sorry, so you've got exclusive rates.
So we have exclusive rates in the market.
That an individual. So I don't mean to cut into you, but an individual going straight to a deal, going straight to a lender. Are you saying they couldn't get that?
Yeah, so when someone goes direct to a lender, they're going to be restricted to the products that they have available at that point in time. Whereas a broker will look across a much broader product set. And there's very a lot of nuances in between each different product that you can get, and the suitability of your own profile, the suitability of the property, and so it really works to your advantage to have someone that can have that broad view, look across the landscape, and then put you into the right place.
So what would you say to someone who's flicking through the Sunday papers and comes across this really sexy looking mortgage deal from a lender and goes for it?
So from our perspective, what I would always do, it's always great to do research. So I'd never discourage anyone doing research. And there's as well as flicking through the paper, there's lots of great free online tools where you can look at mortgage calculators and rate tables to understand the kind of general direction that you can expect to land. But really, as you're then stepping through and trying to get closer to applying, I really would recommend then taking that advice route, finding yourself a free mortgage broker that offers extensive panel coverage, and that will give you the best chance of then being able to save money. And as you said, it's a huge expense for people, and they'll be with it for a long time. So it's worth doing that due diligence.
I always think people can get distracted by the interest rate, for instance, because there's a lot of other variables within a mortgage deal, isn't there? The length of the mortgage, the fees of the mortgage, the redemption penalties, and you work in it all the time, but there's a lot to get to grips with and understand that actually make comparing the different mortgages quite complex.
Yeah, absolutely, and so even I'm guilty of looking at headline rates and thinking that's the kind of be all and end all. But if I was to give you an example, if I talked about myself, so I live in London, and maybe I'm looking at some point moving out of London over the next few years. If I talk to a broker, they could listen to me, understand my circumstances, know how much flexibility I need. Therefore, should I fix into a longer term and a shorter term? If I could then move that mortgage elsewhere, or I was going to move, if my plans were likely to change, really understand your circumstances, where you are in your life stages, and apply that thought over and above just what's the best rate at this point in time, because you could find that you're fixed for a longer period than you should be, for example.
Tom, sorry about this, but seeing as I've got you in front of me, you're going to have to explain the Trussle decision in 5 days. I've seen it on the website. It's a massive claim that you will give somebody a decision whether the lender will lend or not within 5 days. And actually beyond that, you'll pay them £100 if you don't fulfil that promise within 5 days. Tell me about that.
So this is a market first, and what we find is that the house buying process for customers is stressful and it's long. And what we want to do is try and reduce that for customers. And so we've come up with the 5-day speed promise, which is to get a mortgage decision. Now, how that works is, as you come through the process, if you want to get a speed decision mortgage, we will give you a recommendation for that lender. We'll also give you a recommendation that may be not tied into the speed promise as well, and so may take longer.
How would they differ?
So the way that we differ is we're working with a smaller group of lenders on the speed promise, because we've worked with them to make sure we can get those decisions back within 5 days.
Got it.
But we'll always tell you what your best option is, and if that isn't the best, most cost effective for you, so that you can make that decision.
So therefore your customers, your clients get the option to decide whether speed is more important than cost, or the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. So as someone comes through the application form, we find that around 2/3 will say that they're opting for speed. Not all of them necessarily then will take it when they get through, but it definitely shows you how interested people are in speed in the market.
And your promise to give people £100 if you don't get the decision in 5 days, does that cost you a lot of money?
It doesn't.
I really have put you on the spot. No. There was a stumble there, Tom. No, come on.
No, so from our perspective, the cost is relatively low, and we do absolutely pay out if that doesn't happen. Yeah. But we'll then you'll stick with us, and we'll manage you through the process. We make sure that we communicate with you every couple of days, and even more so in the early stages of the process. So we will absolutely pay out of that.
I mean, actually, the real advice to people out there listening is you don't want to have to make these big decisions quickly. So prepare in advance, get your broker on board nice and early. I mean, how on earth can you go out shopping for a house before you know how much you can spend? Really concentrate. The mortgage is the first thing that you sort out before you worry about looking at houses.
Yeah. because you're looking to find that dream home,
Yeah.
you want to do that with the best view and not get too excited by something that actually is unachievable because for whatever reason that may become obvious once you look at your mortgage. So we really suggest that you look at your mortgage right at the start of the process, as soon as you're starting to think about homes that you're looking to purchase.
Yeah, the numbers of people that I've met or spoken to over the years that have been out house shopping and found their dream home and then turned to the mortgage and then realised they can't afford it. I mean, that's just emotionally, that's really, really gutting.
Yeah, and so there's what you can do as well is some estate agents may even ask you to do this, but you could get a mortgage in principle or a decision in principle in advance. That's a much quicker process. We at Trussle, you could do that online in 5 to 10 minutes. Get an automated decision that would look at your credit circumstances and give you an indicative rate. That will give you a really good understanding of what you'd be able to borrow.
Yeah.
But then, before you get to the stage of putting an offer, you've got to talk and confirm with a broker or a lender that you're in a position to make that.
So that mortgage in principle that you can do online at Trussle, does that give you a bit of paper that you can then show the estate agent or the vendor? What do you actually get?
Yeah, so we'll give you a certificate. It will show that you've had an Experian credit search, and it will give you a lending amount.
Okay, thank you. Tom, final question, if I may. You mentioned estate agents, and there's always quite a lot of chat in the press about, a lot of the agents have their own mortgage brokers in-house. And some people who contact us at Move IQ have in the past been put under pressure by the agent selling the house to sit with their own in-house mortgage broker. It doesn't feel right to me. I'm not actually sure it's even legal, but what's your take on it?
So that's another good reason to go and seek mortgage advice prior to going to an estate agent, because you'll find that if you've got a mortgage in place already, that may be that you may feel less inclined to have to go with an estate agent's broker. But it's I always think in this situation, you want someone that's independent and working for you. And rather than having that kind of scratch at the back of your head are they working for me or are they working for the estate agent?
Yeah.
Now, so we would definitely suggest that you seek to get that independent piece of advice.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the estate agent works for the vendor, and if they have their own in-house mortgage brokerage, they'll pretty quickly work out what your maximum budget is and probably take you up to that point buying the house. But still, sometimes there is pressure for buyers to sit with agents, mortgage brokers, and it's not right at all. Tom, great to talk to you. Great to be working with you as well. I mean, it must be a really exciting time up at Trussle, because I know you guys are doing great things. You've been voted UK's best mortgage broker by the British Bank Awards. And I mean, how many reviews have you got on Trustpilot? Yeah, it's astonishing.
So we've got 5,000 reviews on Trustpilot, rated excellent. Customer service is a core part of what we do, and we're in everyone's corner looking to find them the right products, the right deals, and give them the right support to save them time, money, hassle through the journey.
Fantastic. Good luck to you. All power. Keep doing what you're doing, Tom. Many thanks. Good to chat.
Great. Thanks, Phil.
A few words of warning. Your home may be repossessed if you don't keep up repayments on your mortgage. You may have to pay an early repayment charge to your existing lender if you remortgage. Individual savings may vary, and terms and conditions can be found at trussle.com.